The scream echoed through the stone walls of the abandoned British Museum station, slicing through the silence like a blade. Billionaire Sir Alastair Merton, last seen descending into the depths with a private team, had vanished without a trace. All that remained was a corrupted audio file he left behind, where a voice, his, screamed in agony while muttering in Latin. The recording was unlike anything experts had encountered. Ancient chants layered under modern static, rhythmic metal clanks that mimicked machinery but felt almost ritualistic. No one could explain the voices that seemed to answer him in Egyptian, or why the echoes appeared to come from both the tunnel and the museum above. Closed in 1933, British Museum Station was already an urban legend magnet. Locals spoke of a phantom platform that would occasionally appear to those near death, offering them a one-way journey to the afterlife. Merton, obsessed with Egyptian relics, had spent years trying to prove its existence. He had recently acquired several off-the-record artifacts from black market dealers, items said to have never been catalogued by the museum. One of them, a funerary mask resembling Anubis, bore symbols never before documented. And now, Merton was gone. The audio's final seconds shook everyone, Merton whispering his own name from outside the recording. Investigators froze it, enhanced it, and confirmed his voice originated from the playback room, not the tape. A secretive group of elite paranormal researchers called the Shadow Seekers picked up the trail. Their leader, Dr. Elena Voss, once disgraced for her theories on interdimensional transit, recognized an ancient warning embedded in the sound. "He who walks the tracks of the gods shall not return whole." The Shadow Seekers quickly traced Merton's path. A hidden entrance beneath the museum's west wing, sealed with bricks marked in hieratic script, led into an unused access tunnel. Dusty, untouched, except for one fresh footprint, the same size and brand as Merton's custom boots. But just as Voss reached the threshold, her radio hissed to life with Merton's voice whispering, "I see you, Elena." The team froze. The signal wasn't coming from the tunnel. It was coming from every speaker in the station at once. Merton had funded a secret excavation in the British Museum, targeting blueprints of a hidden room allegedly removed from public records in 1903. It was known among only a few scholars as the Hall of Forbidden Relics. No one alive had seen it, until now. Elena and her team broke in through a forgotten utility shaft. What they found defied reality. A massive chamber carved in limestone, lined with open sarcophagi. Hieroglyphs covered the walls, depicting not funerary rites, but passages into the earth. A bronze diary rested on a pedestal. Belonging to Sir Silas Pembroke, a Victorian occultist, it detailed a ritual designed to bring the soul beneath, where judgment awaits. Diagrams showed the British Museum station built deliberately atop the pathway. A funerary mask, the one missing from the museum's main exhibit, was there, untouched, radiating heat. Its inside bore fingerprints scorched into the gold. The name Merton was carved beneath them, though the mask predated his birth by millennia. Surveillance footage showed Merton entering the station weeks before his disappearance, flanked by a man long thought dead. Osric Vale, who vanished in 1971 during an expedition into the London catacombs. He hadn't aged a day. Vale carried a glowing relic resembling a conductor's baton. When held near electrical outlets, the lights dimmed. Elena touched it briefly and heard a faint train whistle, though no train had run through this part of the underground in nearly a century. On returning to their hotel, the team found their notes rearranged. Books open to diagrams of train blueprints with added notations in ink no one recognized. The notations matched those in Pembroke's diary. That night, Elena dreamed of a platform without end, passengers with no faces, and Merton beckoning her to take the final ride. When she awoke, her hands were dusted with ancient coal soot. Elena ordered a deep search of the original schematics of the station. To their astonishment, they found a reference to a Platform Zero, only accessible during lunar eclipses. It had no physical location mapped, but was mentioned in ancient marginalia. Exploring the tunnels, the team located a sealed door behind a collapsed service corridor. The wall bore a symbol identical to one found in Pembroke's diary, a sun swallowed by a jackal. They broke through. Inside was a stairwell spiraling downward, untouched by time. Dusty footprints led the way, some human, others with elongated toes. The air grew colder, heavier, charged with static. Midway down, their flashlights flickered, revealing carvings along the wall. Trains with eyes for windows, passengers reaching out as if to escape, and inscriptions in Coptic and Latin intertwining. At the bottom, a rusted track split in two directions. One was blocked by rubble. The other stretched into darkness. As they debated which path to take, the sound of a train whistle, soft and distant, made the decision for them. They followed the sound, eventually finding a platform that defied physics, cut into a wall of raw stone, glowing faintly. On it stood a rusted locomotive, Victorian in design but lined with hieroglyphs pulsing dimly. The train doors opened without a sound. Inside, lanterns ignited one by one. Figures sat motionless within. None moved, none breathed. Their eyes were hollow, mouths open in silent scream. A figure stood at the far end, clad in Merton's clothing, wearing the funerary mask. He raised one hand, beckoning. But as the team approached, the mask turned its head, not the figure. Dr. Voss pulled the team back. "It's watching us, not him," she whispered, her voice shaking. The masked head tilted again, then slowly retreated into the next car, vanishing through the connecting door. The team argued. Some wanted to follow, others insisted they leave now and seal the entrance, but the train suddenly emitted a mechanical groan, and the doors began closing. Desperate, Elena and two others leapt aboard. The rest stayed behind. As soon as they stepped in, time seemed to warp. The tunnel outside turned to pitch, and the train began to move, without tracks. Inside, the walls shifted like liquid. Hieroglyphs bled into diagrams. Victorian chandeliers merged with oil lamps. The past and present melded into something unstable. And at the heart of it stood a throne. Merton sat on it, or something shaped like him. His body was cracked stone and bone, his eyes glowing embers. He greeted Elena by name and spoke as if they'd always known each other, across lifetimes. "You came for truth," he said. "But truth has a cost. Mine was identity. Yours may be soul." The train jolted and Elena felt herself pulled toward the throne. She resisted. One of her team didn't. Drawn to the mask, still resting on the arm of the throne, they touched it and screamed as their features distorted. The lights blew out. When they returned, the throne was empty. The team member was gone. Merton's voice echoed from the speaker system. "Next stop. Judgment." The train surged forward violently, throwing the team to the floor. Through flickering windows, they saw tunnels morphing into corridors lined with statues, jackal-headed, crocodile-eyed, human-armed. None stood still. "We're not underground anymore," whispered Elena. Indeed, the tracks floated in a void of starlit mist. Time and gravity warped, their watches spun wildly, their bodies felt weightless. At last, the train screeched to a halt before a vast chamber, a buried city carved from obsidian and gold. Towers rose like obelisks, and floating glyphs drifted through the air like dust. Merton appeared again, this time walking among them. His voice echoed from all directions. "This is the city of crossing. Few reach it, fewer return." His tone was both reverent and mournful. They followed him past temples etched with unknown gods, machines powered by chanting priests, and sarcophagi that opened when looked at, revealing mirrors inside. "This is where the souls wait," he said, "but some choose to stay. Power has its price." Merton stopped before a massive altar shaped like a train engine. Atop it lay the funerary mask. Elena stepped forward. "Why did you come here?" Merton replied, "To become more, to shed time, flesh, death, but I am caught between." His form shimmered, half man, half statue. One of Elena's team, Julian, stepped onto the altar. "We can end this," he said, lifting the mask, but his hands turned black on contact. He dropped it, too late. The altar ignited in golden flame. The city trembled. Statues turned, glyphs screamed, a bell rang somewhere deep below. Merton collapsed, clutching his head. "You've broken the seal," he cried. "It's awake." Elena grabbed the mask, now cooled, and fled with her last teammate as the city buckled. Behind them, Merton disintegrated into ash. The train impossibly awaited, its doors open, lights on. They boarded just as the ground split. The city crumbled, swallowed by darkness. The train pulled away, silent, moving not on rails but through thought and fear. As the city vanished, the voice of Pembroke whispered, "Every crossing leaves a scar, where is yours?" Elena looked down. Her hands were translucent. The train slowed again, but this time the world outside was familiar. At first, London, the skyline, but wrong. The Thames flowed backward. Big Ben chimed 13 times. The air shimmered like a dream unraveling. Elena and her teammate Clara stepped onto a platform that shouldn't exist. Signs read, "Platform 0." People moved in slow motion. All wore blank masks and ignored them. The scent of incense and rust filled the air. They tried to speak to a station agent. His face flickered. He spoke in Latin, then screamed in English, "You shouldn't be here." Behind him, a board showed train arrivals, one dating back to 1899. Clara found a map of the London Underground, only it wasn't theirs. Lines spiraled inward like a labyrinth. The British Museum station glowed red, pulsing, as if alive. A sound like thunder cracked through the platform. The train reappeared, modern this time, but empty. The lights inside buzzed violently. Elena hesitated, but Clara entered. "This is the way back," she insisted. Elena followed. The doors closed. Inside, the windows showed not the tunnels, but memories. Merton at the museum, Vale lost in 1971, Pembroke drawing the first symbols. Each memory ended in silence. Clara gasped. Her reflection in the glass was not her own. It was Merton. "He's still here," she said. "He never left. He's waiting. Through us." Her voice shifted in tone. Masculine, regal, ancient. Elena held up the mask. It vibrated in her hand. The train began to dissolve around them, its metal framework replaced by bone, its windows by skin. They were no longer passengers, they were cargo. With a final surge of will, Elena slammed the mask against the floor. The train exploded in light. When the flash subsided, they were alone, on a modern platform, daylight filtering in from a stairwell. But Clara was unconscious, and her hand still gripped the mask, now fused to her palm. Her pulse was steady, but her eyes moved rapidly beneath closed lids. She whispered in Egyptian. Elena dragged her up the stairs, emerging into a disused part of the Holborn station. Time had passed. Days, not hours. The world had moved on. Merton's disappearance was now a conspiracy theory. Yet Elena knew the truth. The platform had reawakened, the crossing had marked them. As she left the station, a boy pointed at Clara and said, "She's wearing the face of the dead man." That night, Elena recorded everything. She locked the files, encrypted them, and left them with the shadow seekers. Then she disappeared. Her last message: "Watch the tunnels. The next eclipse is in 66 days." And beneath the museum, sealed behind stone and prayer, the faint rumble of wheels echoed once more. The dead platform was not done. It was only sleeping, waiting for the next rider. Official reports dismissed the incident as a case of psychological delusion exacerbated by underground gas leaks. But data logs from Holborn Station indicated something stranger, an unscheduled surge in power exactly when Elena and Clara re-emerged. The CCTV footage from that platform had been corrupted, replaced by static. Yet in a single frame, visible for a fraction of a second, was the silhouette of a man in an Anubis mask, standing behind Clara. The British Museum announced a new exhibition days later, The Lost Stations of London. Among the pieces was a funerary mask, nearly identical to the one described in Elena's notes. The plaque read, "Donated anonymously." Meanwhile, Clara remained hospitalized under observation. Her condition baffled neurologists. Her brain activity matched no known patterns, but corresponded eerily to seismic readings beneath the city. One night during a thunderstorm, Clara vanished, her room undisturbed. Only her heart monitor remained, still beeping in rhythm, until it switched to the cadence of a train. Back at the British Museum, the mask's eyes glowed faintly. A child visiting the exhibit looked into its glass case and whispered, "He's back." Her parents laughed, but beneath their feet the rails began to hum. The platform waits. Beneath layers of brick, myth, and disbelief, it coils like a serpent, not gone, never gone, just beneath. Every 66 days it shifts closer to the surface. And when the next eclipse darkens the skies over London, the train will return. Its passengers will be chosen, and someone, maybe you, will hear that whistle in the dark and step aboard.